and welcome. This is Your World, a program where we share stories from around the world, sourced from the Asia Pacific News Exchange, or AVN, Asia Vision Network. I'm Safira Junior, and let's begin our first segment of Your World.
The use of face masks outdoors is now lifted, but some residents say they will continue to wear masks for convenience as it's still required when taking public transport. Although an explicit mask mandate hasn't been in effect since last summer's major outbreak, guidelines issued by the health authority in January maintained that people should wear masks when public areas. Though it did not stipulate a penalty for violations, but starting today, people will no longer be required to wear masks outdoors, a record set straight by the authorities yesterday. However, the use of face masks is still required entering certain places, such as medical facilities and home cares, as well as on public buses and the LRT. Other establishments can decide whether or not to continue enforcing the use of face masks on their own. Some restaurant managers say they will continue to require staff to wear masks as a precaution. The Public Administration and Civil Service Bureau also issued a notice to all public departments that staff working in in-house offices under normal circumstances will no longer be required to wear a mask. Indoor departments that provide service to the public can decide whether or not to do so based on the situation of the venue.
About 17.6% of the Thai population, or 8 million people, are suffering from chronic kidney disease, of which 200,000 are in the final stages. These figures are increasing by an average of 7,800 a year, according to Professor Dr. Atiporn Ingsatit, Deputy Director of Ramatibodi Hospital, quoting a 2020 report by the Ministry of Public Health. According to the U.S. Renal Data System, Thailand ranks 5th in the world for kidney disease. One of the causes of the high incidence of the disease is excessive consumption of sodium, averaging 3,635 milligrams a day, or about 2 teaspoons full, which is twice the amount recommended. Sodium is present in seasonings such as soy sauce, fish sauce, shrimp paste, soup, and seasoning powder. Dr. Atiporn recommended that the best way to prevent kidney disease is to change eating habits by consuming less than 2,000 milligrams of sodium per day. She said that kidney disease does not produce symptoms until it reaches the final stage, so many Thais are not aware that they are suffering from the disease. And she recommended that Thai people get regular medical checkups so that the disease can be diagnosed at an early stage and treated accordingly. She cited the case of a patient about 30 years old who visited a doctor complaining of fatigue. The blood test showed that he was in the 5th stage of the disease. When asked how many times he urinated each day and whether he tired easily, the patient said he didn't count and thought he was tired because of hard work and insufficient sleep. According to Dr. Atiporn, she explained that kidney disease can occur in children from birth. In elderly people, the disease he said that the rate in Thailand ranges from 1 to 2%, adding, the rate is increasing as witnessed by the rising number of patients seeking medical counseling or treatment. Dr. Apichat noted that depression or psychological disorders may be rising because previously, those who suffered from these disorders did not know and did not seek medical counseling or treatment. Today, however, more people go to see doctors when they feel that they might have a psychological problem. There are various ways to treat the disorders, depending on the diagnosis, but the most common is to administer medicines, said the spokesman, adding that there are other rehabilitation treatments, such as advising patients to turn to activities they like, such as sports, arts, or music. According to the Mental Health Department, only 28% of people suffering from depression now have access to medical treatment, with more cases among women than men. The attempted suicide rate among depressed patients is 20 times higher than normal, and about 70% of them die prematurely. The successful suicide rate among men is higher than among women. The attempted suicide rate among depressed patients in Thailand averages 6 per hour, or approaching 53,000 cases a year, with about 4,000 fatalities. The World Health Organization has forecast in its provisional agenda, item 622 from 2011 to 2029, that depression will become the world's second most common cause of suicide among people in the 15 to 29 age group.
Well, up next, more stories from Vietnam, Indonesia, and India. But first, let's make a stop at China.
Chinese developers have succeeded in setting up a wind farm in southwest China's Sichuan province, in doing their bit to speed up the process of meeting the country's carbon peaking and carbon neutrality goals. The Jinyang Wind Farm under the Three Gorge Jinyang Wind Power Project, the biggest wind power project in southwest China, is located in the Daliangshan Mountains. They are 3,500 meters above sea level. One of the challenges for its construction is to transport the giant wind turbines to the mountain tops. Though dismantled into pieces, the components are still too long and heavy for conventional means of transportation, as each blade of a wind turbine long is 75 meters long and weighs 19 tons. However, the engineers and drivers managed to solve the problem in transportation and carried the mega parts to the mountain tops. The first wind-driven generator of the wind farm saw its construction completed in July 2021. Since its entry into operation, the wind power project has been capable of generating over 419 million kilowatt per hour of electricity annually, which can save more than 167,800 tons of standard coal and reduce 329,200 tons of carbon dioxide emissions every year. China aims to hit peak carbon emissions by 2030 and achieve carbon neutrality by 2060.
Shanghai's vibrant cafe culture, which has sprung back to life after the nationwide optimization of COVID-19 control measures, is leading the way for retailers in the metropolis as they regain their business footing. Shanghai, one of the first Chinese cities to taste coffee in the 19th century, is seeing a full-scale return to business for its roughly 8,000 coffee shops. With Shanghaiers already hooked on coffee, cafes are trying out new themes and services to appeal to picky customers. At one coffee shop, coffee is served through a hole in the wall by a server in bear costume, much to the delight of customers. In the city's Hushui district, another coffee shop, which opened in a bookstore at the beginning of this year, has brought customers to both browse books and enjoy a brew. Shanghai authorities are offering support to innovative businesses that contribute to the growth of the consumer market with subsidies to retail business of up to 1 million yuan, or about $144,000 per year, and up to 500,000 yuan, or nearly $72,000 per year for food and beverage businesses.
As Prime Minister Narendra Modi is set to dedicate the Shivamogga Airport in Karnataka, Union Minister for Parliamentary Affairs Prahlad Joshi said that Shivamogga is going to be the hub of culture and tourism after the inauguration of the airport. Over the past 8 decades, This platform has provided great value and gathered many valuable experiences for the practice of building and developing the Vietnamese culture and people. A hybrid national conference celebrating the 80th anniversary of the Outline of Vietnamese Culture by the Ministry of Culture, Sports and Tourism, the Commission for Information and Education, the Central Theory Council, and the Ho Chi Minh National Academy of Politics held on Monday, February 27th. Over the past 8 decades, this platform has provided great value and gathered many valuable experiences for the practice of building and developing the Vietnamese culture and people.
Minister of Tourism and Creative Economy Sandiaga Salahuddin Uno said the F1 powerboat event in Lake Toba, the first of its kind, has been a great success thanks in part to the public support and enthusiasm during the event. Speaking after a visit to the site of F1 powerboat race in Lake Toba on Saturday, February 25th, Minister Sandiaga Salahuddin Uno said the F1 powerboat event has revived the spirit to develop the region. The local economy in and around Lake Toba has been improved, tourism revived, more job opportunities open, and hopefully could bring in prosperity to the local people. Minister Sandiaga said almost all hotels and homestays have benefited from the recent powerboat event. All hotels and homestays were fully occupied. He hopes that the F1 powerboat event could accelerate economic recovery, and as a result, the target to create 4.4 million jobs in 2024 would be achieved, especially in Lake Toba as super priority tourist destination.
Now for this segment, we will share stories from the business sectors. But that's not all. We will also share this story from China on giant panda artificial breeding. Interesting, right?
A Vietnamese artist has put a lot of effort into pursuing this art in Russia, where it originated. Not only has she succeeded in creating works that show her personal style, but she is also trying to spread this new art to many Vietnamese people. Painting and sculptural arts have been around for thousands of years, and over this time, many artists have developed creative techniques to bring these two of visual arts to new heights. The latest of this art of sculpture painting, which includes both sophisticated techniques.
In the Bogd Museum in the capital city of Mongolia, on the 8th day of Mongolian New Year, there is a great event of making the White Goddess, the most precious idol of grace that prolongs life. From sunrise to sunset, Buddhist monks create elbow-sized white goddesses. On the 8th day of the New Year, the first spring of the year of the 17th sexagenarian cycle's water rabbit, the opening of the White Goddess of the 8th day exhibition and the creation of one day's White Goddess was held.
Vietnamese iced coffee has been named one of the world's best coffees by Taste Atlas, an international food magazine. Culinary experts rated Vietnamese iced coffee 4.6 out of 5 stars, equivalent to the ristretto of Italy. According to Taste Atlas, Vietnamese iced coffee is a drink that combines strong coffee, condensed milk, and ice. In addition, the magazine revealed that it's usually served in a tall glass, adding that there is also a version that combines only coffee and ice. Hong Tai Commune in Tiên Quang Province is now home to pear blossoms, as local authorities have expanded the pear tree growing areas in recent years. As a result, thousands of visitors are flocking to the mountain villages of Zhao and the Hmong people to admire the beauty of pear blossoms. After traveling more than 300 kilometers from Hanoi to Tiên Quang Province, Quang Thai Commune is the first destination of these tourists. During their trip, they visited an ethnic Tao Tian village to admire their snow-white pear gardens and discover the local culture. To attract more tourists, the Tien Quang authorities have mapped out plans to develop local tourism. This is the longest avenue in Vietnam with pear blossoms on both sides. Local
to 345 in 2015 when the fourth national survey of giant pandas was made, with the increased rate and population density both topping the country's habitats for giant pandas.